Coca-Cola is the world's largest beverage company. Its products are sold in over 200 countries and territories across the world. The company has more than 500 brands, some of the most familiar being Sprite, Dasani, Powerade, and of course, Coke. Coca-Cola. At the helm of the company is CEO and Chairman-elect James Quincey, and he is with me right now. Great to see you, James.
Nice to see you too, Marie.
Thank you so much for joining us. And one of the big themes here in Davos, as you know, is this coming slowdown in the economy. You've got operations all over the world. What are you seeing?
Yeah, we're seeing the economy get a little bit slower, but I think we're in danger of talking ourselves into a problem. It's just a little bit slower growth. It's not a recession or a decline. So we see a little softer 2019, maybe a little less tailwind than 2018. A lot of uncertainty and volatility around the world is exactly how that will come out, but I don't think we should talk ourselves into a problem, and we ultimately, as companies, need to focus on what we control and what we can do to drive growth.
Let's talk about what you've been doing, because you've been expanding in all different categories in the non-alcoholic area. So tell us what you're expanding, where the growth is coming from in the coming years at Coca-Cola.
Sure. Well, we started off by coming out a period of refranchising and said, look, there's a couple of truths about the consumer in the beverage industry. One, they're drinking more commercial beverages, but two, they want more choice. And we had not done enough to develop our portfolio and really follow the consumer. So we've been able to focus on sparkling, making them grow faster by focusing on some reformulations and innovation, bring down the sugar, dial up Coke Zero, Diet Coke, but then get into other categories, and most recently into some high-end sports drinks in the U.S., investing in the coffee business, and a whole series of portfolio expansions around the world.
You had to dial back the sugar because that's what customers wanted, right?
Yeah, I mean, some people still want it, and it works for them to have classic Coke, but other people wanted less sugar, and so we've really dialed up and spent some money on R&D getting Coke Zero Sugar right, and revitalizing Diet Coke, which is a storied brand in the U.S.
Tell me about the coffee business. That's a crowded field.
Yeah. Coffee's a big industry, but the biggest bit of the coffee industry by far is selling coffee in someone else's outlet. The independent stores of all sorts of different shapes and sizes around the world sell coffee. And who's the biggest provider of beverages to those outlets? We are. So there's a tremendous opportunity for us to be a better beverage provider to millions of outlets around the world, because we can help them with coffee as well as non-alcoholic ready-to-drink.
Tell us about pricing. I know pricing came up at the last investor meeting. What has been the impact of your changes in pricing?
Well, we've done a number of things on pricing. Yes, there's been some cost inflation that came through in 2018, particularly in the U.S., driven by some of the challenges around the freight industry in the U.S. So we've passed through cost increases, but we try to take an approach that's not just passing through the costs, but really working intelligently on what's the right price for each pack size, and to sometimes change the pack size so the consumer gets the price point they want and the amount that they want, and to really focus on the science of getting that right, with an overall thrust of trying to move ourselves to more smaller packages.
Are you expecting to increase prices again?
Yeah, there's some cost inflation coming through in 2019. We expect to increase prices around the world. Obviously, we're in the business of selling through our customers. We want them to grow the beverage business faster than their business and to create value, so pricing will be a part of that.
Let's talk about the Super Bowl. This is always an important marketing event for your company, the Super Bowl being held in your hometown of Atlanta this year, and you've got Pepsi trolling Coca-Cola ahead of the big game. What are you going to do about it?
Well, I think our position is Atlanta is the most welcoming city in the U.S., so we're happy to see everyone come. We hope it's a great game. We hope they enjoy the city of Atlanta, which is our hometown, and I think they'll have a lot of fun.
Do you have plans for a big ad campaign around the Super Bowl?
We do marketing all year round, including we show spots at the Super Bowl or just before the Super Bowl, and we'll do something again this year. But to all the noise, we just like to say we welcome everyone to Atlanta. It's a great place to come.
Tell us about the K-pop craze. Coca-Cola recently launching bottles and cans themed to the Korean boy band BTS. 7 different designs, one for each of the band members. This is a big brand right now. Recently, Mattel shares up after the announcement of a deal to create the BTS dolls. Why did you choose this route? It looks great on the cans.
They look nice. I think they're going to work. It's very Korean. But we've done a program around the world of trying to make our packaging interesting and connect with them, whether it's putting the names on or linking with some of the iconic figures like BTS. And I think it'll be really cool in in Korea.
Also, what you've done is this World Without Waste initiative, a plan that's very important to you, recycling of equivalent of every bottle or can of Coca-Cola that you sell by 2030. How's it going so far? Give us an update.
Yeah, so we set ourselves that ambition, get all the bottles back by 2030 and reuse half of them again ourselves in new bottles and cans. We've made some good progress. We continue to collect more of our bottles back, and we're engaged with a lot of governments and NGOs and our peer companies. And I think this is only going to work if the manufacturers of sparkling drinks, of water drinks, get together, get with the retailers and get with the governments and put in place a collection system that creates value. If the bottle has value, people will collect it one way or the other, and that will create the circular economy. And I think we're seeing good progress and good momentum coming into initiatives that'll make this a reality.
Good for you and Coca-Cola. Thanks for doing that, James.
Thank you.
Great to have you.
Nice to see you again.
Thanks so much. James Quincey is the CEO of Coca-Cola.